Alright, looks like I got no summon signs here, and I realized this, like, very recently, but I've totally forgotten about one boss. Actually, you know what? Seeing that guy's shade did remind me that there's a specific guy that if I wind up killing, I'll be able to get an item which increases the amount of castings I have for spells. And having this... Oh. Don't care for whatever that update is. But yeah, if I kill this guy over here, I'll be able to get his headpiece, which increases the amount of casts I have for my spells. So, items discovery be damned. You know, this does mean that I won't be able to do the Dark Lurker, which, you know, it is whatever. Not exactly my favorite boss. And then if I go back to Majula, I gotta sell it for 10,000. Well, I have to buy it for 3,000 souls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and kill like a handful of enemies. Oh, I also, in between streams, wound up reallocating my stats. Okay, yeah, that's exactly how many I need, plus 36 souls, to be able to... yeah, this is roughly the amount I need just to be able to get that helm piece, just so that I'm a better caster. Wait, no. Oh, shit. Do I have any soul clumps? No on the soul clumps. Okay. Alright, now I'll be able to buy it. So yeah, I completely skipped a boss that's over here, and on my other character, like, because I wound up picking up the item that allows me to join the blue whatever covenant, like, I thought this increased the amount of spells that well, my casts for them. Doesn't seem like it increased at all. Wait, do I have the ring that... Do they not stack? Or is there like a specific stat requirement I need to be able to get the effect? I could just be confused, but something seems off there. I have I believe, absolutely 0 human effigies remaining, so... I might only be able to get this one attempt with the boss. Also, I think if I kill the dragon, that there's going to be like a chest that's got human effigies in it, which that'll be nice. I think it'll have like 5 of them. A High Knight sword, alright. What's this item right here? Divine Blessing. Alright. Wait a minute. Do I have any bows that I can use? No, I don't have the dexterity to utilize them properly. Though I can use these crossbows, apparently. How about bolts? Okay, then I got bolts. Let's see then. In Dark Souls 2, can you aim? Alright, so I'll at least be able to get some damage in on the dragon before necessarily having to go in and get fucked. do they not necessarily have enough range to be able to properly hit. Normally whenever I fight this thing... Ah, shit. Yeah, normally I just have summons fight this thing for me because... I think that's the first time I've actually killed that dragon by myself. Then again, normally do this a lot earlier in game than I am doing right now. Yeah, okay, so 5 human effigies. I was right. Yep, that still hits like a tank. Well, a truck. Gotta love the hitboxes of Dark Souls 2. Listen, Ornstein's Down syndrome cousin, I'm gonna kick your ass. I shouldn't say that. That sounded a lot more mean than I intended it to. No, no, don't. Okay. Just need to be aggressive. Alright, I'll join the Blue Sentinels. Wait, what the... Oh, yeah, that's what that is. Saw something in the fire escape, and then I remembered that I cracked open my window. I was like, what the hell is that in the fire escape? But no, it's just the edge of the window. Alright. Just because it's going to be bothering me that it's like an odd number there. Actually. No, that's not enough to get to 4 attunement slots. But it'll at least get me closer. Wait a second, did they not work on miracles? Did they only work on spells? Spell uses. Either my math isn't mathing, or this doesn't apply to miracles. You know, I'm going to equip a spell just to see if, like, that's the case. Because, like... Okay, then, so... Let's try this again. Oh, now that's bullshit. You're telling me that I've been taking a slight health reduction just for something that doesn't even work? I mean, realistically, I should have noticed that sooner. But that means that I just killed an NPC at the beginning of the stream for no fucking reason. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Except... Okay, so now that's... Okay, so I see. So it's the helmet that doesn't stack with it. I mean, that's not much better, but like... Guess I'm not as mad as I could have been. Yeah, no one ever leaves their summon sign for this boss right here. That was terrible timing for my phone to buzz. I'm being hit with the same fucking moves like he's a fucking spammer. Should have put some of those levels I reallocated back into adaptability. Am I about to first try this boss? Like, I always struggle with him mainly because of, like, the rats. And, like, yes, this one move that he keeps on doing where he backs up and then slams into me has been wrecking my shit. Ooh, that breaks my armor. I do not want to be near him when he does that. I guess get fucked. Seek, seek, lest seek. I think seek, seek, lest seek is by far the greatest quote inside of all Dark Souls. Very inspirational. See then, how many petrified dragon stones do I have? Because I think that I might be able to upgrade. Okay, I only have 2. I think I need 3 for the next upgrade. Which was something I also did in between streams because like I wound up doing the pickle P or whatever it's called instead of Dark Souls 2 trade. I think it's called Snuggly in Dark Souls 1. But I basically did that trade in this game to be able to... Where do I want to go next? Because, like, the hardest part of getting to Prowling Magus in Congregation is getting to it. Like, it's not necessarily a hard boss fight once I actually enter the arena. But it's going to be a bitch once I actually have to start doing stuff. Wonder what Heavenly Thunder looks like. Because I know if I don't take out the healers super fast, then I'm going to have to deal with them constantly, like, reviving these super weak hollows. And on the way, there's going to be a bunch of spiders which are going to be trying to kill me. You know, the spiders are not that strong. Okay, so that's what Heavenly Thunder does. It's basically an AoE lightning spell, which I think will actually be great for Prowling Magus. See, I think I got a flame butterfly that I could just use. Yeah, I got 11. Which means that it's perfectly fine if I'm not necessarily sparing with them. Alright. This should be able to restore almost all the spells that I used. Yeah, okay. This is good. This is great. Wait a second. I think it's the red one that's incredibly rare where it actually heals you. Too bad that I didn't have any health that I needed to gain back. Which means that I just jumped away from the rare instance where the chests of Dark Souls 2 just don't completely fuck you over. The worst part about playing it as a caster is that I could just wind up dying to cheese like that. That is the second time in my life I have ever died to Prowling Magus in Congregation. It is such an easy boss fight that no one ever even bothers to leave their summon sign. And yet I've died to it. You know, there are so many achievements throughout many different video games where it's like you get an achievement for dying. And there is an achievement for dying in Dark Souls 2, but they specifically should have one for dying to Prowling Magus in Congregation. Like the, wow, really achievement. Or at least that's what I'd call it. Surprised that that didn't connect. Oh well. Alright, got another flame butterfly, which will help me get past all of those spiders. Then again, I think that I'll be able to light a torch over here anyways. Yeah, because I lit this basin right here. Alright, 2 tries. Not necessarily something that I'm proud of, that it took me 2 tries, but you know. It is what it is. Man, so far this stream has mainly just been a boss rush, just with bosses that I've been missing. I think I'll increase my vitality, that way I get more carrying capacity. You know, it took me so many years of playing these games to learn that spiders in Dark Souls 2 specifically do not like torches. Like, that was such a weird thing for me to discover. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, so they just don't like torches. Alright. Weird thing for an enemy to be allergic to, but I'll take it. That was 3 spell slots wasted. Oh, welcome. How you doing? Just saw that somebody joined the stream. I'm either blind, stupid, or both. Alright, Titanite chunk. That is good. That is great. That is something that I very much appreciate getting my hands on. Let me see. I think that some of those are Titanite chunks, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll equip a Homeward Bone if I have any. Alright, I have 6. That does so little damage that it's almost comical. Alright, there's nothing over here. Though it does stack up over time, which is something I'll have to keep in mind. Actually, how many Titanite chunks do I have now? So if I have 3... Okay, I have 5. I think that's enough for me to finish upgrading my chime that I... Like, my chime that doubles as a shield. Drink my drink nice and smoothly, but my own saliva fucking kills me. Reinforce. Let me see now where it compares now when it comes... Okay then, so it's still worse, but not by much. Wait a second, I think I might have a soul clump. I do have a soul clump. I think this will either be just enough or just under what I need to reinforce this one more time. Oh, just barely not enough. I didn't mean to waste your time. But now, since you told me specifically not to waste your time, I will waste your time even harder. Do you want to hear the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's? That'll waste your time. It all starts with a guy who's got as much self-control as a toddler that is watching just TikToks and is easily influenced. Like, oh hey, they did this incredibly dangerous activity, like sticking a fork inside of an outlet. Ah yes, I must mirror this behavior. Okay, yeah, so now it is officially stronger. But I wonder how strong this will be if I get that upgraded a bit more. Alright, after I get done with the Duke's Deer Freya, then the next obstacle is going to be what's it called? The Rotten. Okay, yeah. So after Duke's Deer Freya, I gotta try to make my way to the Rotten, which means that I have to go through the gutter. You know, I'll just let this guy pick off as many of these as he wants to. I mean, it's not like they're gonna come after me. Wait, was that his Zweihander? Did I just read that right? Do I have his Zweihander? I have his Zweihander! The Zweihander is one of my favorite weapons in the Dark Souls series. Absolutely love it. Soul of a Hero and Gold Pine Resin. I'm just gonna refer to this guy like, listen, you might have been known as a manhunter in the past, but now your new name is Karapika, just because you go around hunting spiders when you could literally be doing anything else. Not saying that it's not appreciated, I'm just saying, like, let's see then. I do have the gold pine resin, so I'll have that equipped just so that I can, like, maybe switch back and forth between utilizing miracles and other stuff and things that I could be doing. If I'm not mistaken, Duke's Deer Freya has some of the largest amounts of NPCs that could be summoned for the fight. Which, it's an easy boss fight, but can easily get killed if you aren't able to properly dodge, which, you know, I got very low adaptability, so my dodge ability is not exactly the best. I thought I hit the trigger to be able to. Manhunter, do your stuff. And your things. Yeah, I didn't realize that spiders were scared of torches until like about 9 months ago when I was going through the game and I saw a message right before an area with them and it said like try light, and I was like, what does it mean by try light? And then I did a torch and the spiders ran away from me and I'm like, are you shitting me right now? You're yanking my dick, you're pulling my chain. You're spluing in my man Vagu. I'm firing my laser. You know, one thing I don't like about this boss is something that only happens inside of Dark Souls 2, where they have bosses where it's like the entire body isn't a hitbox, where only a small portion of it is the hitbox. We get it, you're having a temper tantrum. Now just die like a good spider. Soul of the Duke's dear Freya. Let's see then. Do I have anything that can restore spell slots? Nope, which means when it comes down to this guy in here, I guess this'll have to do. This is for not properly taking care of your pet. And this is because I hate spiders. Though yeah, to think that the Duke's Deer Freya started off so small that they literally fit in that cage. Oh, don't want to forget the item that's in here. See, then normally there's like a chest or something that's right before these primordial bonfires. Unless just killing that guy is all that there is. Okay, I guess it was just killing that guy. Yo, welcome to the stream. How you doing? So far today it's been mainly just doing a boss run, and I am looking at my stream and I am seeing the low resolution that the frame rates are deciding to go. I'm entirely thinking that it's just my computer. Like, the game is running perfectly fine. Once I eventually get monetized, I do plan on upgrading to a better computer system to be able to get better resolutions for streams. But for the time being, I gotta work with what I have. Alright then, so 2 points into vigor. And then 3 points into vitality. That way I can potentially wear heavier armor later. I also do have one boss weapon that I can two-hand, but I'm not able to roll or do anything really otherwise whenever I'm using that particular weapon. Let's see then. I wonder if the map guy has moved in yet. Because I know after killing a certain amount of bosses that he shows up in here. Alright, looks like the map guy isn't in here yet. See then. I think I can upgrade my mace at least one more time if with this amount of souls. Yeah, there we are. And then I just don't have the proper amount of Titanite chunks to upgrade it any further. I can live if I die and I only lose 546 souls. Actually, I wonder, what's my soul memory looking like? Because I think if it's over 1,000,000, I don't necessarily have to kill the gutter. Well, go through this area to be able to go into Drang Lake. Because, like, well, I do think that this area is super cool with its gimmick of you lighting up torches and slowly you beginning to unlock more and more of the area. I don't like the fact that it's got so much poison inside of it. I don't like how many enemies there are that just, like, although they're weak, you can easily get outnumbered. And how mandatory it is for you to kind of make multiple trips just to be able to make it in between the two bonfires. I've already accidentally made it so that I can't kill every single boss this playthrough, just because I thought that killing one guy, I'd be able to... Because if you kill him, you get a helmet where it says that if you equip it, it'll increase your spell uses, but it only applies towards, like, sorceries and hexes. It doesn't apply towards miracles. So, you know, I kind of figured that out a bit late, and I was just like, well, ain't that some shit? Go out my way to be able to do this, and then turns out that that wasn't part of the plan that the developers had. And I was complaining about this area, and I've literally been having the easiest time with it. But I think that's just because of how many trips I've gone through and how much of it I have lit up. And I've mentioned this before, how when I was... Oh, didn't mean to do that. I meant to pop one of these. But how when I was playing this on Xbox, that it was a completely different experience just because the amount of people that played Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin Edition was so limited that you could practically be on a first name basis with everybody on the planet that even played the game frequently, because like that was just how few players there were for it. And every single person that I played with completely forgot about the torch mechanic, and so they'd always be like, alrighty then, you're going to want to cast light on this area to be able to get through. And that was the advice I got from every last one of them. And then like one day I was going through and I was just like, wait a minute, what about torches? And then it was just like, wow, this area went from being difficult to suddenly being put on easy mode. I gotta... Nothing there. I gotta... I know that the bonfire isn't too far from here, so... just gotta be careful because... don't want to fall. Okay, then there's the bonfire, and I think that there's a breakable wall that's near it. There we are. It's gonna bother me. You know, I'll go back to that later just because it's not necessary for what I'm doing right now. But noticing that I missed some spots for me to light. Alright, there's going to be some acid pots that are going to be down here that are going to be a bit annoying. Like, I don't want to risk any of my items breaking, because it'll be a bit expensive to get them repaired. Alright, gonna light this torch and quickly unequip everything. Alright. Now to put some stuff back on. Some stuff and things. See that? Ah, there's my mace. Alright, from one terrible area to another. And with a little over 6,000 souls, I'm gonna want to spend them on something at least. That way, if I do wind up dying due to poison, I'll at least have used them for something, even if it's just to get a piece of armor for me to read the description of. That way, later on, if I'm like, oh, I want to do a video on Dark Souls 2 lore, I'll be able to be like, as you read from the infantry boots of Dark Souls 2, this character, who you never see in game, was apparently crucial in this battle. And it accentuates just the vast levels of world building that go into the game that even Miyazaki himself was just like, yeah, this was the most shit of the franchise. Then again, he might mainly say that because he's a petty bitch, and this is the one where he had the least amount of say when it came down to actually making the game. Like, he outright said in an interview, like, yeah, if games have sequels, their lore must kind of be shit. And that was back before Dark Souls 2 was even being made, and they just kind of dragged him along, like, oh, Miyazaki-san, we want to create another Dark Souls game. And he's just like, you fucking what? Like, I'm sorry, get off my dick. You want to do what with my properties? And he was he had a very minor role in the end product of the game. He admitted in an interview that he had more to do with the DLCs of this game than the actual game itself. Which, you know, it definitely has more of the Miyazaki flair to it. But yeah, no, he was very adamant on not wanting Dark Souls to get a sequel, and then because they already did Dark Souls 2 and they were just like, well, we need to find a way to wrap up the story. He was like, fine. Let's just make it a trilogy and leave me responsible for everything inside of Dark Souls 3. And from there, we got the most linear game of the trilogy, but also the one with the easiest to understand narrative, because that one is the most narrative driven of the trilogy. And each of the 3 games has something to love. Personally, I constantly go back and forth between Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1 being my favorite. And realistically, it just depends on which one I'm playing more of at the time. Like, me playing more Dark Souls 2 as of late, I'm seeing everything that makes me love it. I'm like, wow, this is the greatest of the Dark Souls games. It cannot possibly get any better. And then I start playing Dark Souls 1 again, and I'm just like, holy shit, I forgot about how intricate the level design is and how that goes into the overall narrative of the story. It is so crucial and good, and it is just as important, if not more important, than the designs of the bosses. And it's like just this constant back and forth of... It's kind of like when you get a little kid and you're just like, what's your favorite Power Rangers? Or like, any of that stuff. It's like, I don't know, they're all pretty fucking good. Like, when I was a little kid, you could have sat me down and just been like, alrighty then, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, or Power Rangers SPD. And it's like, oh man, they're both good. Though, in hindsight, years later, Dino Thunder's opening was an absolute bop. Like, seriously, out of all the Power Rangers openings, like, that one, straight up, I could, like, as an adult, just sit down and listen to, just like, there's a light in the distance, feel it getting closer. Like, it's just like, it's kind of like the Bakugan opening, like the Bakugan Battle Brawlers opening, where it's just like, damn, this had no reason for being part of a kids show and being this absolutely good. Like, what the shit? Like, you've got no reason being this absolutely goated. It's cool that even though it's made out of a bunch of corpses and that one on the shoulder is the one controlling the body, they still managed to give off the illusion of eyes by making two faces eyes. Like, that is such a cool detail. Yeah, that really fucking hurt. I'm not even gonna lie. Kind of feeling a bit messed up. I'm not even the main guy fighting you right now. Yet I was your focus of attention. I mean, I get it. I came into your place of business and gave you a 1-star Yelp review for your entire boss fight. Ooh, this is not feeling good. I already got one NPC dead, and he's only down to half health. Wait a minute, he's down to half health. Never mind. I was about to say this is bad, but... Oh shit, I forgot to re-equip my rings. I am such a foolish fool who does things most foolishly. Like, I could have had more casts of my spells. I could have had more spells to begin with, like... Man, I literally screwed myself this one just because I forgot to put on my rings. I was doing so good, too, on the build-up to it. I feel like such a foolish fool who has made repeated mistakes. Got me saying foolish fool. I haven't thought about this in the longest time, but back when like the pandemic started, I had this whole online D&D group, and there was an NPC that was kind of like a repeated villain who was actually a adult red dragon that was like mentally immature and just enjoyed pranks, and he was inside of a disguise as a dark elf, and like it was based off of a D&D book where there's a specific thing called a drow dragon, which exists inside the Underdark, which is essentially like a dragon elf hybrid that has both the abilities of an elf and a dragon. But this guy was just, the whole shtick with him was that he's mentally immature and enjoyed pranks, and although he was an adult red dragon, he mainly just did stuff like, I cast minor illusion to put tits on your horse. And he would constantly refer to the players as being foolish fools, so it'd be like, you foolish fools! You think that you can defeat I, the great Malice Mortem? And like, a majority of my players fucking loved this guy. Like, every time he showed up, like, they'd just wind up, like, laughing their asses off. And, you know, I started off the campaign with everything being, like, super serious. But, fuck me sideways. I'm not going to get used to the fact that it's like the bottom trigger to cast with this particular chime compared to other chimes where it's just top trigger. Yeah, that was a waste of a humanity, and I just lost a bunch of souls because the dark spirit of the... You know, if I do become a big YouTuber, I want to get a bunch of specifically Dark Souls content creators and run a Dark Souls D&D, just because, like, there's so much lore inside of Dark Souls 2 that I think could be fleshed out into like actual D&D mechanics and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to smash as many of these statues before I go too far, and because I don't like poison. But like, I was even thinking about it earlier, like how I'd utilize the Estus flask, and I wouldn't base it off of like, so with the Estus flask I'd have it be like, you get one of them and that's basically just like a regular health potion, and it gets regained on a long rest. And then because I enjoy the life gem system, like, have life gems be like something where in D&D you gotta use a full action to take a potion. So that would be using your Estus flask, but then life gems would be a bonus action, and they make you regain 2 hit points per every round of combat for up to like 1d4 or 1d6 rounds of combat. So meaning either a maximum of 12 hit points regained or a maximum of 8 hit points remained, and that's throughout the fight. Damn it. I tried running for it. I should not have done that, especially with my limited amount of human effigies. I mean, technically I do have enough in my soul memory to be able to enter Dranglake Castle. And I think I'll do that if I'm brought down to just one remaining human effigy. And then probably what I'd do is, like for death saves, if they fail all 3 of their death saves, what happens is instead of them dying because of the holification process, like they'll gain 1 level of hollowing, and it'll work kind of like how exhaustion works inside of 5e. And you know, they will technically be dead, but they'll just be revived as soon as like either the entire party dies, which it'll just be like a 12 hours later in terms of like what's actually going on type thing, or have it be like upon a, like the party going from like a short rest or a long rest. I don't know. It's a whole thing where I'd have to like work out necessarily the system and how to run it. But I think it would be plenty of fun. Like there are a couple of Dark Souls YouTubers in particular that I'd want to get in contact with this about. But at this point, I'm not even big enough to have, like, I don't even have 1,000 subscribers yet. Like, I am... And a lot of my content is just from shorts, so, like, I get that I got, like, a ways to go. But, you know, once I get big enough to, you know, where it's like, oh, I'm getting monetized, I'm getting sponsorship deals. Like, I'm going to have to sell my soul to Raid Shadow Legends. Like, these are just plans for if and when I get big enough. Because I believe with the mentality that I've been going at this, like, it's only a matter of time before I start to be able to get big enough for these plans to happen. And, like, for right now, this is mainly just a hobby. And, like, you know, like, some of the best advice I got in my life was from my dad. And, like, his hobby when he was in high school was DJing. Like, he'd DJ at parties, and, like, he'd put his own money into so much equipment. And it was like, if you have a hobby that you're passionate about, find a way to make money off of it. And that's pretty much, like, what I'm doing. And, like, I mainly started this just when I started my job hunting, and I'm still having a tad bit of difficulty finding a job. And, you know, even then, this will still just be like a side hustle. But given that this, to me, is just a hobby that I could potentially make money off of, like... But once I do start making money, I'm hoping that I don't wind up becoming a shallow person. Like, there are so many instances where people get a slight bit of internet fame and they lose all of what brought them their audience to begin with. Like, what made people drawn to them, where they become less of a person and more of a brand. Like, I'm hoping that I never have that happen to me if I become big. Like, I still just want to be, like, this autistic dude who likes talking about, like, Pokemon, who likes to watch animated shows, who enjoys a good fight scene, and whose favorite video game franchise of all time is the Dark Souls trilogy. Like, I never want to lose the core of what... No, I didn't mean to... I didn't want to do that. I wanted to add myself a heal. Alright, it's bottom trigger for this shield chime. And I gotta run the fuck away from him because... the range on that attack is deceptively long. Alright, so technically I'm now down to the last of the humanities I'm willing to use. And if I die, then what's going to happen is I'm going to end the stream and maybe look up, like, how to grind for humanities in Dark Souls 2. or like try to find any that I just blatantly missed. And from there, make my way to, like, I'll end the stream and then basically work off stream on getting myself a bunch of humanities. That way, by tomorrow, I'll be able to properly, like, be able to put in an effort. Wait a second, it's got an AoE spell? I don't think I've ever seen it use that before. Then again, it could have used it inside one of the previous fights and I'm just drawing a blank on it. That didn't hit anywhere close to it. Let's see then. Let's try it closer. It's at 1! Oh, let's go. Oh my lord. Oh man. Where's the door at? I know that there's supposed to be a door that I gotta go through because, like, that's not it right there. Am I just... Oh, there it is. It's a tiny little hole in the wall. I think with this, like, unless I'm mistaken, shouldn't Aldia have showed up? Unless I went at them in the wrong order, like, he should have showed up there. Alright, she's told me to proceed, which means that I think I can make my way to Dranglake Castle now. Actually, you know what? I won't do that. Instead, I said in the title of this stream and every stream I've done with this character that I'm playing as a cleric. And so far, I have barely been using any miracles. note, I did just get myself to now where I got like a bunch of actually damaging miracles. But I think it's about time that I actually become a man of faith and utilize these souls to buy a bunch of miracles that I will never utilize. And then utilize one. Actually, no, I think I should probably buy some better armor because, like, having this armor set which increases my casting speed is alright. But I'd rather be drippy. Also, given that I've been playing this more as a half caster instead of a full caster, like, maybe I should also consider being able to just tank more attacks as well. Alright, let's see now. Oh, wait, no, wrong bonfire. Alright. I'm going to make one attempt for the Drang Lake bonfire. And should I fail, the stream ends. Should I succeed, the stream ends. Either way, that was my goal for the end of the day. Because from there, like, it's not that hard to get to, like, the Dragon Rider Knights. Holy fucking shit, I gotta fucking run, holy fuck. I know that that's not the Jurassic Park parody song, but like, I'm scared. Alright, they're backing up, which means perfect time for me to hit them from behind. Phrasing. Also, favorite position. Just saying. Okay, so I got another human effigy and 2 twinkling titanites. Now then, I don't necessarily have any chimes or weapons that need upgrades with twinkling titanites. But on the contrary, I do have something that I can upgrade with twinkling titanites. And those are armor sets that specifically I cannot wear at this point. I will be coming back for you, Shrine of Winter. Soul of a Hero. Alright, guess I just grabbed All Might's soul there. Ripped it straight from his corpse. Well, he didn't die in My Hero Academia. He really should have. I mean, Deku said that whole thing like, I'm going to change your fate, and then he actually fucking did. I'm not sure why I said his voice with like a British accent. Like, if anything, I should have been like, if you could change your fate. With that, but instead I decided to go British paperboy route with it. Like, please, sir, if you do not buy my newspaper, my father will beat me with a belt. Just like he beat Mommy yesterday. That's almost how, like, I picture all, like, those, I think they're referred to as, like, paupers or something like that. Or, like, they're old school beggars that are, for whatever reason, depicted as British. Oh, holy, okay. And then I got some mastodons chasing after me as well, and I need to... Okay, the mastodons are going back. Ugh. Scary. What sucks is I had to kill them specifically close to that second statue, and if I would have been able to do that, it's not that far off from the bonfire. So I guess tomorrow's stream, I'm specifically going to be making my way to that bonfire. Like, it does suck I died where I did, but on the plus side, I managed to grab 2 more humanities, so, like, that's a plus. Alright. I guess till tomorrow. Have a good day.